This is from J Funds. Barcades are booming right now. Any chance of you guys opening one day? If so, what would Frank's job be?
Frank would be a great greeter and just saloon patron.
He'd be a great barback.
The
Wonderful gruff barback.
Guy just takes the beers away and cleans it off. He wouldn't be gruff. They'd be friendly. Maybe give a little more attention to the female patrons, but
he'd be good. He's got the look.
He's got the look. I think he's look for a bartender in a movie, though. I think I'd teach Frank to bartend. I think.
I don't think Frank would want to bartend.
You don't think so?
If they want anything other than a beer.
But he talks to everyone. No, he likes making drinks for people when you go over. Chris makes all the drinks. And
okay, that's fair.
I think Frank would be... He looks like the guy from Tapper almost. So,
to a degree.
Okay, I have thought about it. I will say that. I've looked into it. I think it's interesting because... every year there's more and more of them. Like 10 years ago, they weren't really a big thing. Like there might have been like a few of them. Now almost every major city has at least one. San Diego has one. I think they're getting a second one.
They do have a second one.
There's a second one.
I think there's 3 of them. There's Coin House, Coin Op, and then there's another Coin Op downtown.
There's 2 Coin Ops now. And where's Coin House?
It's up near Coin Op, I believe. But yeah, there's a Coin Op downtown with like 10 machines from what I've heard.
So it's the same company that's doing the second one? Interesting. So San Diego's out for Pat. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it used to start with, ground control is all I ever knew about originally when I first went to Portland in 2011. Like, this is cool. Then there was one, Dorkley's in Tacoma, up in Washington State. And then you find out there's others here and there. So I'm all for it just because if that's the only way arcades stay alive, so be it. If it's people want to drink and have a good time and it to be a destination for, because you talk about like something like Dave and Buster's, that's not the true arcade games. I mean, those are arcade games, but they're not the classic ones. So the way for the classics to stay alive, you either have to have like a huge fucking place, like a huge arcade destination area, which there's only a few of those in the U.S. because there's not many people that have hundreds of arcade machines, that could put them out and maintain them, and either do that or you do a barcade, and that's really it. So I think it's good to have barcades. Prices of machines have gone back up because of barcades, and plus people that want them for their man caves or whatever game rooms. So because of that, machines like 15 years ago, machines were, besides the classics, machines were worth nothing by and large. An average machine, Neo Geos were worth nothing. Play Choice stands were worth nothing in the early 2000s. Now there's a demand for them again. Well, that's good because that means the games get restored, they get maintained, they're not just junked as well. So the more businesses that want arcade machines, the better, because they're going to be saved. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yep, I mostly agree with everything there. It's better than not having them.
Yeah.
I don't. It's rare for me to find one that holds my interest. My problem with barcades is that I think now with the incredibly easy access to all of these classic games, just monster packs of arcade classics being released by the companies that hold the licenses to them, digital downloads, etc., just people's, huge interest in retro games and having original systems at home. The thrill of seeing a classic game like Ms. Pac-Man out at a bar is not as exciting as it once was, but they're still there. And it's good to see that people will stop in there to buy a drink and drop a few quarters in there and play. The only issue is I don't see a lot of return. I don't know of a lot of return investment or return visitors.
Return customers.
Yeah, return customers.
Yeah.
So it's you either put them in like busy tourist areas, or you try to cater, that bar more to the neighborhood. And I feel like with those, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. It seems like pinball machines actually draw a lot of people to barcades now. And, when I go to the barcades, like, say, Coin Op, there's far more people crowded around the 4 pinball machines than there are people using any of the arcade machines in the barcade.
I'm of two thoughts of this because when you talk about classic arcades, less and less people grew up with them. So I'm thinking that maybe the college-age kid or someone in their mid to late 20s, some in the mid-late 20s didn't have arcades already, which is insane to hear almost. So they might think this is awesome. This is something I never experienced. It's a past time point, but it's something you can't get outside of an arcade. You can't go home and play games the same way. You can't go home and play a tapper machine with the actual
Right.
Pull on that, or a paperweight machine or a pinball machine anywhere. You can't get a home experience on that. So when I think about that, I don't think that experience will ever die out as long as there's a way to transfer that experience to the next generation. I think that's what Barcades is kind of doing. It's unfortunate that it's only really Barcades doing that.
Sure. I think that the real sweet spot here, and we've talked about this, and I think you agree with me mostly on this, is
I don't ever agree with
you have to have some of the classics. You throw Galaga in there. Throw Centipede in there. Centipede's a big one, but Centipede actually plays into my next statement. But have some of those classics. But I think the real key for Barcades going forward is going to be having arcade games that there's something special about it that you can't recreate at home.
4-player games.
4-player games,
different controllers,
trackball games. An old Sega game like Turbo, that was very much tied to how the unit was with the paddle and the little screen.
Maybe a sit-down cocktail game.
Right.
Star Wars Arcade with a controller that was never replicated anywhere.
Or even games like Mappy that use a normal.
Mappy.
Because it's a point I'll make. It has a normal control scheme, but it has like a big oversized marquee.
It's a beautiful piece of art.
It looks cool. It's very pretty. Stuff that it's gonna catch the eye, or it's something that you can't do elsewhere.
To me, that's artwork too. I always go back to Popeye being a beautiful piece of art as an arcade. It's gorgeous,
beautiful machine. All those Nintendo machines.
Those 4 or 5 Nintendo machines are all gorgeous. But I want to own a Popeye machine. Yes, I love the gameplay. I love that gameplay, but the machine is absolutely gorgeous. I will own a Popeye one day. Same thing with and plus it's the sights and sounds of it too. They'll get back to the point. Yes, I'd like to get it on a Barcade eventually. I love arcades. I don't want to see them die out. It makes sense for me to try to invest at some point in something like that. And plus, it'd be cool to say, yeah, I can go get a drink and play some games, and and have Frank there as a tapper saloon guy, getting some drafts for people.